Today's video is going to be an introduction to HTML and my first video in my series that covers HTML for web developers. So first off, what is HTML? And I'm going to use the MDN docs to kind of supplement this video here. Now, HTML is a markup language that tells the web browsers how to structure the web pages you visit. It can be as complicated or as simple as the web developer wants it to be. The HTML page consists of elements here, which you can enclose, wrap, or mark up different parts of the content that make it appear. And real quick, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So you can see here, they use the terminology of markup to use HTML to make your content on your web page appear in different ways. Okay, so depending on what HTML you use, it can change how your web page is structured and change how the web browser interprets that HTML and presents that HTML to your end user that's actually using your web page. And then it goes on to say the enclosing tags can make content into a hyperlink to connect to other pages, italicize words, and so on. For example, consider the following. My cat is very grumpy. If we wanted the text to stand by itself, we could specify that this is a paragraph and enclose it in a paragraph element. So here you can see this is HTML right here. And if you want to present this text to your user, my cat is very grumpy, wrapping this in P tags here, these P elements, and in my next video, we're going to cover what HTML elements are. But if you do this, this is going to present this to the user as a paragraph. Now, if I wrapped this in H1 tags, which means that this is like your top level header of your web page or your top header of your web page, the browser is going to represent this differently to the user by default. And it's going to be like this big title at the top of your page. But with a paragraph text, it's just going to be something that kind of looks like this text right here. It's just going to look like a normal paragraph. Okay, so this HTML, you use it to structure your web page, and then your browser takes that HTML and it will present this content to the user depending on how you've structured your HTML. And you use this HTML as your structure, and then you go on to style that HTML with CSS, and then you can also add more interactivity with JavaScript. So for example, you might use HTML to create a button. So you might use button tags to say that you're going to submit a form. And then you might use CSS to style that form to make that form look all pretty and such. And then you would use JavaScript to then decide what you want to do when the user submits that form. So maybe after they submit that form, you want to store that data in a database. Well, you could do that using JavaScript, and that adds a little bit more of that interactivity to your web page, because then you could present to the user, okay, the form has been submitted successfully. You can now click this button to move to our homepage, and so on and so forth. But the HTML is going to be the structure of the page, and then you use CSS to style, JavaScript to add some interactivity, okay? So that is an introduction to what HTML is and what it's used for. In my next video, we're going to cover what an HTML element is and how that works.